Every journey has a beginning, and my digital learning and leading journey began with 5302 18 months ago. I'd like to walk you through this exciting journey. We discovered Carol Dweck and the psychology of success, and I discovered that I needed to have a growth mindset if I was going to succeed in this endeavor, which I didn't quite understand what I was getting myself into at that point. But I knew that I needed to be willing to put in effort and be willing to fail so that I could learn. We also looked at the SAMR model, which is an acronym that stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. And it helps you to know how to integrate technology within the classroom. And in this first course, I was also introduced to COVA, the foundational approach to the DLL program, and a concept that I believed in long before I was familiar with the acronym. It stands for Choice, Ownership, Voice, and Authenticity, and it would be the foundation for this course. I also created 2 videos in this first course, one showing how I was going to use this growth mindset to get me through my master's program, and then one also detailing my learning philosophy. The next course was all about putting these ideas on my e-portfolio and beginning to make my voice heard on the internet. I was a little nervous about this, and I played around with different sites, Wix, Weebly, Strikingly, WordPress. The idea of having an audience and people looking at my work was a little daunting to me. I'm quite an introverted person. But I was finally, after 5 weeks, I was able to produce something that I felt comfortable with. I felt it represented me, and I was pretty proud of my product. I knew that I was going to be able to grow this site and put things on here that were truly meaningful to me. In the next course, we read some fascinating books on being a leader, and I had to grapple with the fact that I, a little quiet French teacher, signed up for a program on leadership, so I had best get with the program and begin to think of myself as a leader. Simon Sinek challenged me to dig into my why. We developed a bit of an innovation plan, and it incorporated the blended structure that I love with active learning in the classroom. We looked at the influencer model. We looked at WIGs, Wildly Important Goals. We talked about the whirlwind and how that can impact our goals. We talked about the 4DX plan, and we broke that down to just basically the 4 disciplines of execution. So all of this really was key, crucial, in providing a concrete path to making the innovation plan I wanted to come up with actually happen. In the next course, we looked at disruptive innovations, and I finally got the chance to really spell out my innovation plan, which I'd been hatching the past few courses. In this course also, I created my literature review, which was a lot of reading, but I pulled it all together, and it really was able to give some direction to what I wanted to do and some insight into what would work when bringing blended learning into a foreign language classroom. We created a 3-year implementation plan for moving the blended learning in the World Pro Language Department into place. And I also created a call to action video to kind of make known what it was that my innovation plan was about. Even though the quality of the video was not very good, I was really pleased with it because it kind of showcased the innovations that I had already begun putting in place in my classroom, and the active learning approach that I had switched to so quickly after having learned about it because I was so excited about this concept. What is my learning philosophy? Am I a constructivist, behaviorist, or cognitist? I had to dig back into all of that. And I also learned about what is a big, hairy, audacious goal. I had to create one, the overarching course goal, and I created also a 3-column table where I truly thought through every aspect of a particular unit in my French 3 honors class. I also used the UBD approach to further break down the course and add some important questions. In order to get where you want to go, it turns out that you need to begin with the end in mind, and this helps. So I created my outline there. In 5314, we looked at some case studies, and then we had the opportunity to go back and make modifications, both to our literature review. We added many more resources to that, and also to the innovation plan that I had hatched. And I also created a new call to action video in order to spread my streamlined big idea. And I polled my students on what apps actually helped them with learning the most. So that was an interesting take on that. I always love hearing from the kids and getting their input on things like that. In 5315, I learned about action research. Am I a researcher? This course was eye-opening to me, and I discovered that I have been applying the principles behind action research my whole career. I just didn't realize it. Teaching truly is a daily experiment, and being able to identify a problem, plan out a potential solution, try it, collect data, and then analyze and make changes when needed. This is what educators do every single day in the classroom as they attempt to meet the needs of their learners. So I zeroed in on a problem which I believe could be solved with the use of technology, and then I proceeded to tackle that. I've collected actually a fair amount of data at this point, and I'm now in the phases of putting it all together in some sort of cohesive data bank and a graph, so that connections can appear and guide my teaching. Should I continue to use this particular app? Is it wasted time or worthy investment? Only action research will tell. What does it mean to be a digital citizen? What is fair use? How do I know if something is protected under copyright law? In this course, I learned what it means to be a digital citizen, and we looked at multiple case studies involving one or more of the 9 digital elements that Ribble outlined in his book. They're divided, the elements, into 3 categories: respect, educate, and protect. This is crucial knowledge not only for modern day educators but also for their students, and I created a video kind of outlining the impact of digital citizenship, especially on health and wellness, and as well as your digital footprint. Both of these are very important topics to me, and I see them in the high school. I also created a fun little video for the first time using Simple Show on Snapchat and what that was. So that was a fun new video app that I like to use. In 5317, Roger Schenk introduced us to the concept of using cognitive science to teach in a way that actually helps the students learn. I researched and I wrote an article that I would like to publish, and we also created another video in this one to introduce some of the best tech tools that I've discovered and that I use frequently in the foreign language classroom. This was a combination of using Screencast-O-Matic and Adobe Spark, which brought those two together really nicely. So that was, again, experimenting with new technology to make videos. 5317. Oops, no, 5318. Sorry, moving on. Where does one even start when designing an online course, or even a blended course for that matter? Here we read Tony Bates' book, Teaching in a Digital Age, and we went over Robert Gagne's 9 events and examined how exactly to create an online course. The fact that there are 3 steps before you ever even present the content is something that I need to keep in mind. It was kind of surprising to me. We used elements from behaviorist theory, constructivism, and cognitivism, and I developed authentic assessments and a course that was on Schoology, kind of set up to be intuitive, to be helpful to the students, broke it down to different sections, and really thought through every aspect of this. It was a huge undertaking. And this was only for 3 lessons in 1 unit for 1 course. I teach 4 levels, which each have 6 units. In 5388, we looked at what true professional learning should be and the elements it must include in order to truly make a difference in the classroom. We based it all on a phenomenal study called Teaching the Teachers, and based on that, I created a PD session, which I hope to someday lead, about using stations in the classroom. I also created a video using Screencast-O-Matic again this time, and a PowerPoint to describe the different elements that are necessary in order to have effective PD, or professional learning, PL. For that, this was my outline for the professional learning over the entire year, and then I created a Google course as well for that, as well as Google Sites. And finally, I created a day-long PL around the idea of using stations, and including everything on my PowerPoint as far as what would happen throughout the day. But it really gave me the opportunity to think it through, and at the end of this course I actually felt ready to run a professional learning session, which I had never even thought that I would do. And now that I have read more than I can process, experimented with the creation of so many varied projects, researched and collaborated with truly outstanding colleagues, I come to the reflection phase again. This is such a crucial phase in learning, and yet often overlooked in education. But I have to look back, because Confucius said that learning without reflection is a waste. So this time of going back over my journey, my progress, my work has been both rewarding and inspiring, because just as a mountain climber pauses to look back over where he's come from, I also need to take the time to look back and pause and admire how far I truly have come. Earning masters in any subject is hard work, but I am so thankful that this was not only a master's in an area that interested me, but also one that has changed me and the way that I teach. The trek continues. The summit is only a place to pause, not to build a home. I will continue in the Cove way to pilot my plan, to learn as I go, to use my time to become more of an expert. I have found a field here that offers lifelong learning, as well as a place to experiment, and I certainly don't intend to stop now.